0, 1.
Let's get started.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Black and White United show. I'm your host Andreas. Thank you so much for tuning in. First of all, I just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone who subscribed. We hit 500 subscribers on the channel, which is awesome, which is a perfect segue into this video. And we're going to be talking about player numbers. Now, I spoke a bit about it in my last video with all the draftees and stuff and who wore what number. I think it's fitting that we speak today about the number 5, not because of the 500 subscribers, but because of the exhibition at Pies HQ with Nathan Buckley. I have seen it firsthand. I saw it on Monday. It is fantastic, and I've got little bits of footage which I'll probably chuck into this video at some point. But I want to talk about, I was born in the late 80s, so I want to talk about the players who have worn number 5 while I've been alive pretty much and following Collingwood. First one was Ronnie McEwen, then it was Nathan Buckley, Nick Maxwell, and Jamie Elliott. So let's just get straight to it. So Ronnie McEwen played 123 games for Collingwood between 1984 and 1993. He kicked 105 goals and he was famously left out of the 1990 Premiership team with others, Alan Richardson, Brian Taylor, etc. In 1992, Ronnie McEwen kicked a total of 29 goals from 13 games. This is obviously after Collingwood's premiership, but then he ended up retiring the year later in 1993. So from the 1994 season onwards, probably the greatest Collingwood player of all time, or in my opinion, the second greatest Collingwood player of all time, entered the club. In 1993, he won the Rising Star Award with Brisbane, but there was a lot of drama, obviously, with him coming to Collingwood. North Melbourne were after him, and look, he pretty much had told Brisbane when he got drafted there that I want to play for Collingwood. They obviously tried to keep him, but they couldn't facilitate that. They facilitated the trade, but they couldn't keep him at the club. I do believe when Nathan Buckley came to the club, there was some draft picks, and Craig Starcevich, a Collingwood premiership player in 1990, went over to the Brisbane Bears at the time. In Buckley's first season at Collingwood, he won the Copeland Trophy in 1994. He tied that with Gavin Brown. He also won it in 96, 98, 99, 2000, and then in 2003 also. In 2003, he won the Brownlow Medal, and he was Collingwood captain from 1999 to 2007. I don't need to go through every single award that he's won. Every Collingwood supporter knows how influential Nathan Buckley was to our team. There was so many games growing up where you'd see, like, he was a type of player that can control a game, that could win the game off his own boot, and even in a loss, he'd still get best on ground. And that was the result in the 2002 grand final, which gave everybody and me so much childhood trauma or teenage years trauma, which probably didn't get any closure until 2023, but that's a different story. Nathan Buckley was probably... Buckley was one of my Collingwood heroes. Like, I had his poster on my wall, and the way that kids these days would look at a player like Nick Dacos, that's the way that I looked at Nathan Buckley. There was nothing better than when we were shit, like I'm talking from like 99, 2000, 2001, there was nothing better than seeing Nathan Buckley bust through a pack in the middle and take it and kick a goal from 60 out on the run. There was a game, I'll fast forward right towards the end of his career. There was a game in 2006 against Port Adelaide at Football Park where, you know, he's taken a specky, gone back and kicked a goal. And that was in his second last season of football. Injuries hampered him towards the end. Let's not lie. They fucked his career up right at the end. But the influence he had in that team, I think is probably the biggest influence a player's ever had in a Collingwood playing group in my time supporting the club. So obviously I went to training during the week, and I was fortunate enough to go to I sort of stumbled across it. I didn't know it was there. And, you know, training got delayed an hour, as you guys know, from the video. So I said stuff, I'll go look at the cup. The cup wasn't there, just my luck. And I thought, you know what, I'm here now, so I'm just going to look at everything. It's a museum. It's got everything there. I've seen it 100 times. Every time I go there, I always stop and like look at everything and read the stuff again that I already know it's there, you know. That back part, I didn't know that Buckley stuff was there at the time. And I've walked in and I've seen it. And I didn't film a lot of the stuff. It was like obviously me talking because I was doing a vlog, but I did get some of it. And I'll put it up on the video now for you guys to actually have a look at. But I implore you, go to the club, go to a training session while you can. And even if you don't go to training, just the merch shop's open from 9 to 5. Just go in there and have a look at this stuff. It is amazing. You've got like paintings of him from 20 years ago, and the detail is absolutely phenomenal. You've got his All-Australian trophies. You've got his Williamstown kit that he played those 2 games for, in Williamstown with. You've got his 1999 All-Australian, his 1999 Australian team that went over to Ireland. The jacket, a signed Gaelic footy. There's just little things in there. His Collingwood Life member pin. There's little things that you see and you're like, wow, like this is stuff that he would have had in boxes, and that's gone back to the club, and it just looks unreal. So please go and see it. I'm not going to keep talking about Bucks now because we've got more to talk about, but he is the second greatest player, in my opinion, ever to play for Collingwood. Obviously, the first being Pendles, but he's probably the most influential ever to put on the black and white jumper. So I didn't know this, and they've changed it around. But Buckley's got his own section of the centre dedicated to him. And there's like more over here, and they're like limited edition, like 1. Like, this is sick, man. Like life membership for AFL. This is ridiculous, man. You guys got to get down here and have a look because they've changed it up, and like this is his Northern Territory Football League jumper. I had this jumper and I don't know where it is. I had this exact same one. Like, bring that back. That's like if the club brought it all back. Like, that's his like AFL Hall of Fame trophies, man. Like his life member pin. Come on, man. Seriously? So Nick Maxwell came to Collingwood. He was picked up in 2002. In 2001, he played for the Geelong Falcons in the TAC Cup. Picked up and rookie drafted by Collingwood in 2002. He wore number 43, I think it was. He wore number 43 to start off with the Collingwood and then moved down to 27 while Buckley was still playing. And then in 2008, when Buckley had retired in 07, in 2008, Scotty Burns became the captain and Nick Maxwell actually took the number 5. We all know what happened after that. Maxwell became Collingwood's 15th premiership captain. I believe that Nick Maxwell was probably one of the most underrated defenders that Collingwood's ever had. There was, obviously he was a captain, so he was noticed like quite a bit and he was spoken about quite a bit, but I wouldn't turn around and say he was the most skillful captain that Collingwood's ever had. Nowhere near. Collingwood's captains have predominantly been midfielders. In fact, I'm pretty sure Tony Shaw, Nathan Buckley, Scott Pendlebury, Scotty Burns, I mean, these guys are all midfielders. But he was, if you could ever have a quarterback in the AFL, he was the Tom Brady type of that team, of that group. He was the quarterback. He was the general. You could tell when Nick Maxwell was playing, like the directions he'd give, sometimes it looked from opposition supporters, and they've said this about Maxwell to me a million times, that like he'd berate his teammates and he'd call them names, or he'd yell at them on the field and stuff like that. But I'm sorry, he's captain and he's controlling everything, and I would absolutely love it if someone like Darcy Moore now, who is a defender. It's funny that the last two Collingwood captains have been like defenders, but I would love it if Darcy Moore took a leaf out of Maxwell's book like that, and visibly you could see him getting into everyone. And that's why I think put Maxwell apart from the rest, was that he didn't care. He was like, I'm going to tell you where to go. I'm going to yell at you if I have to, but I'm going to get this fucking job done. And it resulted in a flag for us. And that flag was, it could have gone either way, a bounce of a ball, this, that. But, we went back in the replay and we ended up smashing him. And he was such an influential figure in that premiership. So Maxwell retired halfway through the 2014 season, or might have been 3/4 of the way through the 2014 season. He damaged his ankle and he had a lot of problems with his foot. So he ended up retiring and announcing it during the season that he wasn't going to continue. So obviously that means the year after, which was from 2015 onwards, the number 5 became available, and I think the person who's taken the number 5, it's such a fitting player. So Jamie Elliott takes the jumper in 2015. He ends up being a Collingwood Premiership player in 2023. Jamie missed a lot of football. Now, you'd think if someone that's been at Collingwood since 2012, that we would, by now, I mean, you're talking now, this is 14 years after we picked him up, he'd be close to 300 games or whatever. Elliott has been absolutely smashed with injuries to his hamstrings, to his back. But on the positive side of things is that in 2025, I believe it'll be, what is it, like round 7 or something? It'll be the Easter Thursday game against Brisbane Lions at the Gabba. Jamie Elliott will play his 200th game for Collingwood. Premiership player, Collingwood life member, and a Pies 200 gamer. That's massive. That's awesome. And I think he was the perfect player to take that number 5. And I think it'd be very hard to make that jumper like your own, like because of the history behind it, obviously with Maxwell and with Buckley. But I think Jamie's done that jumper justice, and he's owned it himself. And I'm just wrapped that he was able to win a flag at Collingwood, because he's such a deserving player to win that, and to wear the number 5 is absolutely awesome. So everyone, thanks for watching this video. Please drop a comment, tell me what you think, and leave a number. Like, let's talk about numbers. So I'm going to be talking about numbers, obviously, from players that I remember. So I'm talking from like the late 80s till now. So if anyone's got a number that they want me to dive into, I'll post a video like this once a week. I don't know when once a week, but just at some point during the week, I'll post a video like this, and we can talk about that number from, let's say, 88, 89, all the way through till now, and who's worn it. But I thought it'd be just fitting to talk about the number 5, especially with all the Buckley stuff in the news. So thanks for watching. Call it as you said, drop a comment. Tell me what number you want to talk about, and as always, go the Pies.